Mountain West football week 1 highlights. College football is back, so we're back on the Big Mountain to summarize week 1 in the Mountain West. Hey, JY back here with the Big Mountain. Want to talk about some of the games I was able to view here over week 1. Of course, I'll go through all of the scores. Was actually at one of the games there in Akron, Wyoming versus the Akron Zips. Talk about that here a little bit. But 9 out of 12 games the Mountain West cover in. Very good weekend for the Mountain West. I want to start with some surprises and really the two teams I had picked to be in the Mountain West Championship game. Of course, week 1 is a bunch of out-of-conference play, so it doesn't mean they certainly cannot be in the Mountain West Championship. But I got to talk about the Boise game first. Absolute surprise, 34-7. They fall to the USF Bulls. Team stats here pretty close overall, but Boise does turn the ball over 3 times, unable to put more than 7 points on the board. You're not going to win very many games only scoring 7 points. Maddox Madsen here finishes 25 of 46 for 225 yards. He also had a touchdown pass. He had 11 rushes for 31 yards. Has to find his game a little bit more. Not a great outing for Maddox. Not a horrible game, but certainly the Broncos and the fans are expecting a lot more here from Maddox Madsen. Sire Gaines, the leading rusher, 9 carries for 44 yards. Sherrod, not much of an impact in this game. The top receivers here, Caples, Ford, and Lauder, all three, I should say, had 4 receptions. Marshall had the touchdown reception for the Broncos there. They did have 3 lost fumbles. Those were the 3 turnovers. Madsen had 1, and then 2 running backs, Gaines and Sherrod, each had 1 as well. So they are looking to turn things around here Friday night against Eastern Washington back home there in Boise. No better way to do it than back on the blue. Let's talk about the second big surprise for me. Central Michigan upsets San Jose State in San Jose. That score 16-14. Really surprised by this from both sides, honestly. Central Michigan brought a game, and they have a whole new coaching staff, pretty much all of them new to the FBS ranks in terms of the head coach, the coordinators, and whatnot. And San Jose State here, again, 3 turnovers. Just like Boise, I was talking about the turnovers. San Jose State also has 3 turnovers, all of them going to Walker Eget. They were an impressive 8 of 16 on third down, so they could move the ball, struggled to put some points up on the board here. Obviously, with that offense, the spread and shred, you want to obviously see much more than 14 points put on the board. Lynch at the end of the game, the kicker here, he misses a 33-yard field goal and then a 56-yard field goal in the last 2 drives for the Spartans. Either one of those would have won this game 17-16, but that was not to be. The Spartans lose to Central Michigan, and props to Central Michigan. They brought a nice game there to San Jose. A lot of turnover, as I said there, with the coaching staff and in the player ranks. Eget here, 24 of 43, 2 touchdown passes, but 2 interceptions. He also had a lost fumble. Could have been another interception. He was kind of getting ready to throw the ball. They ruled it a fumble. It was caught in the air anyway, so be that as it may, he had 3 turnovers. Really struggled in the first half, especially there. His first interception into the end zone, he pushed a ball to a place it should have never have gone. They're in the red zone. Throw it away if you have to. Him being one of the top 2 starting quarterbacks for me in the preseason, that's something I certainly didn't think I'd be seeing from Walker Eget. And really just dug themselves a hole that they tried to dig out of, but couldn't score points in the second quarter, and second half, I should say, to get all the way out of that. Also, Falk here, I wanted more out of their running game. They returned most of their running backs. Falk carried 11 times for 44 yards. Still wanting to see more out of this running game. I will say Central Michigan did a great job on the run defense. But, we got to see more out of this running game. The big highlight here coming out of the game, Scudero, wide receiver. He came in from Sac State, expected big things from him. My goodness, he looks to be this season's Nick Nash. He had 9 receptions, 189 yards receiving, and a touchdown. When him and Egan get going, good things are going to happen for this team. He was very impressive as a receiver. So all hope is certainly not lost here, but very disappointing that the Spartans come away with only 14 points, and of course that loss here to Central Michigan. Let's get to the Wyoming versus Akron game. Wyoming covers the spread here. They win 10-0. The offense left many points on the field. I was there in person. I did a pregame show. I did a live halftime show. We did post all of the comments from both Coach Salvell and the players for the postgame presser, so you can check that out if you want to. Durr Jr. is absolutely special. His speed will not be denied. Caden Anderson, the quarterback here, said, expect a lot of Anderson to Durr this year. And if that can happen, the Pokes are going to be putting up some offense. J. Mike had his touches early on, really was kind of the go-to, I think, for Anderson. Anderson looked a little shaky, not super bad, but definitely I was expecting a little more composure out of him. He knows he has to get better. Sam Scott, the number 1 running back, the only kid that really carried in the first half for Wyoming, he looked really strong. I'm a Sam Scott fan. I said it last year. I said it going into preseason. I was actually surprised he's the number 1 back, but he looked like the number 1 back. Absolutely Wyoming running back. He's got good size, good power. He's got a good first move. I'm really happy for Sam Scott. And the defense was in complete control of this game from beginning to end. Really around second quarter, you could tell this defense was having their way. And by the end of the game, just the offensive line was about to give up. They just, the front four, anytime they brought a blitz, they were getting back to that quarterback. And they had a veteran quarterback there in Akron. So absolutely impressive from the defense of Wyoming. They look to start 2-0 as they return home for a Week 2 matchup game. Let's go to the UNLV game. They went down to Sam Houston. Of course, Sam Houston State here playing in an off-site facility as they're getting renovations to their football field. They're playing at a soccer facility down there. They had some clock issues during this game. I saw a good amount. UNLV does cover with their 38-21 win. I had taken them at 12.5. Of course, after Week 1, that dropped all the way down to 9.5. I saw it at 8.5 at one time, but they easily cover there at 17 points. Calandria is the dude. He is in control of this offense. He looks phenomenal. You put Mullen with this type of quarterback, good things are going to happen. Bradley looks like he's breaking out as the number 1 receiver. He had a great game there for the Rebels. Defense absolutely did improve. They still have a ways to go, and they've got a heck of a test here this coming weekend versus UCLA there in Las Vegas. Let's go to the USU-UTEP game, one that I was really looking forward to on both sides of the ball. USU here does cover 28-16. The line was 5.5. Really would have liked to have seen UTEP put up a few more points. Holding Utah State to 28. That's about what I expected. I expected the Miners to be in the 20s as well, 23 to 25 points to be able to keep it a little bit closer than this. Barnes, the pig farmer, looked great. As I said, I was a big fan of his last year. He went 19 of 28, 233 passing yards with a touchdown. Also had 15 rushes for 29 yards and a touchdown. When he gets out in space, he can be a problem. Davis, the running back, looked really strong to me. 12 carries for 88 yards and a touchdown. Also, 6 receptions for 61 receiving yards. He's a guy that you're going to want to watch here with the Mountain West. He absolutely stood out to me here with Utah State. Brock Lane there with a nice 52-yard touchdown reception. The UTEP offense here just made me wanting more. They did have a nice early touchdown there. Nice pass from Nelson. But overall, just didn't look overly comfortable or confident in this game for me. He finished 22 of 34 for 178. He had 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But hey, Utah State with a very nice cover there against a UTEP team that I think is continuing to improve. Let's talk about Fresno State versus Georgia Southern, another game I probably could have put in my surprise category because of what this final score ended up as. Came in with a line of 1.5. Fresno says, nah, we're going to blow that out of the water. Score 42 points. Georgia Southern only 14. Really blew things away there in the second half there in Fresno. The running game just absolutely took over. D took control again in that second half. Total yards in this game, 242 versus 527. First downs, 13 to 29. Fresno State did lose the turnover battle 3-1, mainly because of their quarterback. I'll get back to that. The good here, what I like to see from this team, Bryson Donaldson. He looked fantastic. 23 carries for 176 yards and a touchdown. Rayson Luke, 10 carries for 96 yards and 3 touchdowns. This running game went off in the second half. The bad, that was because E.J. Warner didn't look very good in the first half. They were trying to mix it up. He started off great. I think he started 4 for 4 or 5 for 5. Then he started throwing some interceptions, just making not great decisions with the ball. He only finishes with 176 passing yards, again, because they really relied on that running game, which was having a ton of success against Georgia Southern in the second half. But Warner throws 2 picks. He doesn't look confident. This was my biggest question mark for the Bulldogs, the quarterback situation. Through 2 weeks, E.J. Warner has not made me feel any better about this situation for their passing game, but they do have a very good running game. Let's talk, lastly, the last one I'll kind of break down, and then I'll just quickly go over the scores. I want to talk about the Rams versus the Huskies. CSU covers again. You're hearing a trend here, a lot of covering by the Mountain West. They do lose to the Huskies, but I'll tell you what, redshirt freshman Jalen Dupree rushed for 92 yards on 15 carries and a touchdown, named the freshman of the week here for the Mountain West. They may have something here with this kid Dupree. He looked really good. Jackson Warren there, the tight end, 6 receptions for 79 yards and a touchdown. He seemed to have, pretty good connection there with Fowler Nicolosi. And just a good showing here for the Rams against a solid Big Ten team. You saw what their quarterback can do with his feet. So I consider this a nice win for the Rams. Again, they cover the spread. They have a tough game here in week 1, but they handled it really well. The game was close there for quite a while. Didn't see the ending, but I did see most of the first half. And very good positive here for the Rams, a team I thought maybe might struggle a little bit. I have them on the upside here coming out of week 1. And I mentioned the Big Ten teams. The Mountain West covers in all 3 matchups against the Big Ten. Of course, that was Colorado State. That was Nevada and New Mexico. So let's talk about some of these other games. Nevada here loses to Penn State 46-11. My co-host Steve was at the game. He mentioned multiple times to me how much Chubba Purdy looked really good to him. And they're playing one of, if not maybe the best defense in the nation, for crying out loud. So they cover the spread there fairly easily. And, it is what it is against Penn State, but I think they got out of there about where I would assume Coach Choate would want them to be. They're able to put up some points, and I'll give props to the defense. They were able to hold Penn State to some field goals there in short coverage in the red zone. Absolutely something that they can build off of. So, hey, I liked everything you saw going against a very tough opponent there for the Wolfpack. UNM, the Lobos, a surprise here. Again, maybe another game I could have up in the surprises. They cover their spread. It finishes with 17-point differential. Michigan 34, UNM 17. That surprised a lot of people, I think. Jason Eck has this team ready to play. Again, they went up into Ann Arbor, not an easy place to play, and the Lobos show up for this game. So I love seeing the Mountain West covering against these Big Ten teams. Well done for those 3. The other games we had San Diego State. They put a 0 up against Stony Brook, or make Stony Brook put a 0 up, 42-0. They have a very difficult week 2 game here, traveling north to Washington State. That's going to tell us what this game has. But hey, absolutely nothing wrong with coming out of the blocks. I don't care who you play. Putting up a goose egg there is the other team, 42-0. Aztec fast, maybe taking effect down there in Southern California. 49-13, the Air Force Falcons put a number up on Bucknell. They cover the 30-point spread, and they have a passing game. That's right, I said a passing game there in Air Force. Really impressive with the Falcons in this game. Anxious to watch them moving forward. And then Arizona versus Hawaii, a tough trip there for Hawaii. Alejado did play in this game. They pulled him towards the end of the game when things kind of got away. Final score 40-6. Arizona looked really good. But, you know, we kind of figured this was going to be a loss for Hawaii. They are not able to cover the spread. I'm sure that Coach Chang there would like this to have been a bit of a closer score, especially for the offense that I really like, only putting up 6 points. I'm sure he would have liked to have seen a bit more offensive side there for the Rainbows. But they come right back at it against Sam Houston this week, back on the islands. I think they get back in the win column. So there's week 1, all in a nutshell. Tell me what your biggest surprise game was in the comments below, and where you think we might be headed with your favorite team here for week 2. With that, hey, thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I'll have a live pick episode with my co-host Steve Wednesday evening. I pick every Mountain West game. With that, hey, smash the like button, subscribe if you like our content, and we'll see you next time on the Big Mountain.